Welcome Pisces to your in-depth monthly forecast for November 2024 for the Ascendant, the Sun or the Moon. Please see beneath this video to view your year 2025 Zodiac forecast. You can also order your personal forecast for next year now, get the rest of this year free, and also your life roadmap report and 30% off. Please see below for that too. On the screen now, I'm sharing your event chart right at the start of the month. Now the big takeout is the new moon on the first day, it would seem, but we do need to be mindful of the two players in your sign, Saturn and Neptune. They're both hugely influential this month, not least Neptune, because it starts this month in a glorious alliance with Mars, but also with Mercury. So we have a water grand trine. Neptune in your sign has encouraged you since 2012 to invest in your creativity and individuality. With the position of Mercury in your ninth house, this connection between them inspire you around travel. Mercury is also in an electric opposition with Uranus, which can make you a little bit restless. But the link back to Mars is in your fifth house. That's very much about passion, joy, fun. So if you're wanting to do something at the start of this month, which in some ways is different and more spontaneous, the new moon and that grand water trine certainly give you a lot of encouragement. But what about Saturn? Saturn starts this month in a difficult angle with Venus. Venus is up top in your chart, encouraging you to use your people skills and charm to make progress professionally. But because of the restless energies in Scorpio, a ninth house new moon is really pushing us in some way to be much more spontaneous, to break out, to be more free-spirited, perhaps more experimental. If you are someone who wants to learn something, the next month can be pivotal for finding and signing up for a key course. If you want to travel somewhere, that also can be something that inspires you. But the ninth house can also be about freedom, personal independence. Are you pinned into a situation, professionally, work-wise, or in a relationship which is not working so well for you? So that square with Saturn and Venus really asks you to be mindful of that. Now Mercury is going to move across your 10th house cusp on the 2nd, pushing you to seize the moment if it does come to learning new skills around your work. So if it's your work that's become rather dull and repetitive, Mercury moving across that point is a great time to reskill, go on some kind of course. However, as Mercury moves, so it does move away from the opposition to Uranus. But one opposition none of us can escape this month is the mighty clash between Mars and Pluto. That becomes exact on the 3rd. For you, Pluto, from the 2nd of September through till now, and from the 1st of January through to the 21st, was emphasising the part of your situation to do with your long-term plan. But it's about to move this month on the 19th into your 12th house. That's going to bring a lot of very deep transformations into your life through to 2043-44. However, at the start of this month, its opposition to Mars could see you having to make a key decision about your long-term future. And that new moon in your 9th house, along with the initial location of Mercury opposite Uranus, gives you an idea that there's going to be restless energies threaded through the whole of this month. So if you do feel penned in a situation, or you can't freely express yourself, then by the full moon on the 15th of this month, and when Saturn in your sign goes to red, that's going to provide week 3 a window of opportunity to do something that really breaks out, maybe is all on daring, particularly if you're someone who does tend to gain a lot from helping and assisting others. Because perhaps what Saturn's been saying to you since March 2023, when he arrived in your sign for the first time in around about 28 and a half years, what he was essentially saying to you is, have you been too devotional since Neptune's been in your sign? Is there a time for you to be a bit cooler, a bit more protected about your personal energy and where you invest it? So I feel that particularly once Mars moves into Leo on the 4th, that's asking you to think more about where you can use your creativity in a practical way that gives you some kind of tangible outcome. And Mars there can also give you encouragement to get fitter. You're going to have more stamina, particularly through to the 6th of December, which will be welcome. Then Mars does retrograde. But on the 7th, Mercury, which moves across that 10th house cusp on the 2nd, does go into its pre-retrograde shadow, so it's slowing down, but it also squares up in week 2 with Saturn. So if there are questions about your career, and you have to deal with a line manager, for example, or an organization which has very stringent parameters which make it difficult to breathe and flex as a mutable sign needs to do, all of that can really get you thinking. And that takes us to Venus. Venus arrives to join with Pluto in your sector of friendship and sociability on the 11th. And maybe if you see a long-term plan or working with people who are a bit freer spirited, there's a chance to go for it, particularly as Saturn goes direct on the 15th. But it requires you to have the confidence to break out of something that may have had a certain degree of a pattern to it, which may have given you a structure in your life. So the full moon of the 15th and its electric connection to Uranus is going to see you feel a little on edge. But also it can see some very intense discussions in week 3. Someone could be very provocative, perhaps tell you right out straight what they feel you need to hear. But you know, that person might actually be a very positive player for you, because as much as you may find it a bit intrusive, a bit annoying, perhaps even downright rude, they may well have a point. And if it's someone who is a friend, who really does care about you, do be open to what they have to say. The 19th sees Pluto go deep in 12. The 21st, the Sun joins with Mercury in 10. If you do need to make that transition professionally, some opportunities can come up. Don't rush them. Mercury goes fully retrograde on the 26th and does stay in retrograde through to the middle of December, and it doesn't emerge from the post-retrograde shadow until early January next year. So there may be a period where you do need to soul search about what you really want. But certainly you could hear from someone from your past. Mercury retrogrades are not all bad. There is a popular archetype that Mercury retrogrades only cause tangles, frustrations and delays, all of which can happen, but they also give us an opportunity to rethink. So Mercury retrograde in the 10th house means that you could decide to follow a particular pathway, but then for whatever reason there are roadblocks. But those roadblocks are for a reason. So by the time you get to early January, you will be clearer on what you need to do with that career opportunity. But it is going to give you a lot of food for thought in this month, particularly once Mars moves into house 6. And Pluto is going to provoke you in a way which may surprise you by bringing up issues from the past that you thought maybe that you had dealt with. Some of these could be very tender and painful ones. The more you can release, but also release any fears and inhibitions which are holding you back from seizing the golden prize which is within your grasp. So this month, essentially, Pisces, is a month which urges you to be experimental, to break free of restrictive patterns, whether it's around your social situation, your personal daily routines, the choice of TV programs or films, what you read. Try to bring a real spirit of openness. There's going to be a lot of conversation. There could be a very highly charged discussion on the 3rd with Mars and Pluto opposite, particularly if you're not feeling it in a romantic situation and you sense that you do need to break free. But with Venus moving into Capricorn on the 11th, that's asking you to think about your long-term future. And that essentially is what the change is about. It's reaching towards a new outlet for you, a new purpose that has a greater meaning beyond just the tangible rewards that we're often motivated by, which of course is success, goals, status, greater earnings. Those things are all very important, but I feel that Venus in that last week, when it's with Pluto, is really asking to make sense of what Pluto's meant for you since 2008. It's been a pleasure being with you. Please check out your year 2025 deep dive video by clicking on the link beneath this video. But for now, take care and have a great November.